So, hi guys and girls, this is Claudia here from the Gasometer in Vienna, and this time it's Igor Cavalera. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, thank you.
So, you're currently on the tour of 20th anniversary of Back to the Roots. Getting back to the roots.
Yeah, it's actually the final shows.
Right.
This is like, and then we're doing this, we got invited to do this Headbangers Ball tour with Overkill and a bunch of bands, so this is like the final shows for the Return to Roots.
So, what is the feel about that tour? Like reviving some old memories, or?
Well, actually, it is more like bringing to some fans something that we did on an album that was very special, and those people having a chance to see something that they didn't see 20 years ago. So that was kind of like the idea behind the Return to Roots. And for us as musicians, it was fun revisiting something that we did, playing those songs live. A lot of those songs we never played live, so that was kind of cool to bring it back. But I have to say now we're ready to move forward. So
talking about moving on, there's a new album out with Cavalera Conspiracy.
Yeah, that's where I was going, because it is cool, it is fun to do, but I get way more excited about having new music, playing new music. You know, like on this last few shows, we are playing one new song from Psychosis as like an extra boost of energy. And preparing our fans for what's coming next year, so that's something that is really exciting for us.
So we can expect you on tour again.
Yeah, that's the idea, is to do a lot of touring with Psychosis next year, and of course many projects that me and Max do. We're gonna be on the road for most of the year.
So I was reading an interview of the two of you where Max was talking about the spirit and the like old school stuff that's happening again, mixed with some new school knowledge of the scene by your producer, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the album is a reflection of what me and Max are really into, and that was very important to have someone like Arthur Risk, which is the producer, that understood where me and Max wanted the album to go. And when I say that, it has a lot of levels of ideas, coming from all the way to, like Max mentioned, some old school ideas of bringing back some of the thrash elements and even like older like death metal and stuff, but also some new stuff which Arthur also it's very familiar, which is a lot of the noisier, the concept in between the songs to make like this little ambient noise, so there's never a silence in the whole record. So it's just one big piece, and all those things are a mixture of new and old, and we really enjoy at the end the result of it.
And you also said he's like very passionate, Arthur, like you, and he brought out like the soul of the two brothers. Like, how did that feel, or how did you figure out that now he got that?
Well, it's funny because me and Max, we've been doing this for so many years that we kind of like produced our own stuff for a long time.
Right.
And then to bring someone, it needed to be someone like Arthur, like where it's almost like we didn't plan too much, you know. We heard some of the stuff that Arthur did with Power Trip, and myself more like stuff like he did with Prurient. And then when it came to the idea of doing the album, me and Max were like, yeah, maybe at this time we should have a proper producer come in that could push me and Max to do certain things and try out new ideas. So that was a fresh thing for us to do after many years of producing ourselves.
So with that new influence, there was also an influence he was talking about. You went to Uganda with your wife?
Yeah, that was something a little before I went to record the Cavalera record. I was invited to do kind of like a project in Uganda where we're teaching some people how to record music.
Oh, cool.
And make music. So we went to Uganda. We spent 10 days there teaching these kids, doing workshops and stuff like that. And then from that experience, I record a lot of stuff, like some music, and I also record some landscape noises and things like that. And then in one of the songs, I brought some of that stuff, and we end up making a whole track with a lot of that.
Wow. So I saw there's also a lot of contributions on this album. Like, you know all these people, or have you met some new people to work with you?
Well, there's not really that many. Like, there is Justin from Godflesh.
Right, you know him.
We know each other for a long time. Like, we're big fans, me and Max. And I really enjoy all the music that he does besides also Godflesh. And then I talked to Max about it. He was like, man, we should invite him to do one of the songs. Even like, I think the song was inspired by having him. So we kind of wrote the song thinking of how he would sing on it.
Yeah,
so
like
it's a bit of a, so it's a bit of a tribute to Godflesh. And then I have one of my kids on it, which is a Igor Cavalera, playing a very unusual instrument. It's like a medieval instrument, hurdy-gurdy, where you rotate and you make this really beautiful sound. So I have one of my kids on it, and then there is Aaron, which is a friend of ours from Phoenix, who plays this mouth harmonica thing. So all those things end up making in the album in very I don't know, like almost like disguised in the middle of all the stuff that we did. So that was kind of cool also to have it.
So when you're heading on tour, what do you feel like when you start going on stage? Like the moment that you start a show? Like, what is it like? You see faces? You see... You're in your mind, or?
No, I am. Like, I can see, the first you walk in, of course, there's a lot of things to be focused, which is like how you sound, how you're hearing yourself, all those things. And it's a combination of all. And then once you are a little more secure with what you do, and then you can start paying attention to, especially the people in the front, where you can see a bit of the faces. And then of course there's the energy between, especially me and Max, we're exchanging. But I don't know if I think about other things when I'm playing. Really, like what I'm gonna, if I need to shop for for Christmas, nothing. I don't think that comes to my mind when I'm playing. So it is a bit of a losing yourself in the music every night.
And about the topics that are spoken on the album, like terrorism, the madness of mankind. And,
I mean, not necessarily like topic by topic. When you do the song, you incorporate that. Maybe it's a little more for Max, which is singing the lyrics. So he needs to be more in that. But for me, playing the drums, there is stuff that comes to your mind, but it's not necessarily that each song I go into a different, whatever he's singing about, I go into that vibe.
Yeah.
It's a little more musical than the lyrics for me.
Well, there are a lot of bands starting out and they don't really know what to do, or they say, well, we don't have a lot of money, or, what would you say to them? Like, just...
I don't know. A lot of things change, like, for example, like when we started, we didn't have a lot of money. And it was a lot more difficult to record. You needed to go to a professional studio, and that cost a lot of money. Where nowadays, I think it's a lot easier to record your demos and record things. There's a lot of home studios who sound amazing. So in that sense, I think things... Not saying it's easier, but it is a little more, I don't know, it's okay to do this stuff, where those days, if you didn't have a proper demo, people wouldn't really listen to it. like most of our recordings, they were from a cassette, like in a boombox, and they were like demos, not really like a professional album done that way. But I have to say, it's the same thing, you know. Like at the same time, now you have the internet with a very easy access of people. If they hear the name of your band, they can just type and find something, like either a video or a sound sample of it. So I don't know. It's the fight is still the same, but at the same time, people are getting overexposed with way too much information on bands. So I think it's really hard to find like a recipe on how to make it, how to make your band. I think the best way to do it's simple again. It's like working super hard, and that's something that me and Max, we always did. Like we never sit down at home and just be like waiting for things to happen. We've been on the road for more than 30 years, you know, like there's a lot of sacrifice in that. So I think that's where I can tell young bands, it's like, it's a lot of work, you know. You can't just expect people to, even if your music is amazing, people are not going to listen unless you out there, you're pushing yourself, you're playing as much shows as you can, and you're sending your whatever. Back in the days, we were send tapes and to fanzines. Nowadays, you can send messages online and try to get your music across. So that's hard work is the name, I think, of the game.
So, but it's worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it is. When I look at it, where, you know, like I can feed my kids, I can go on tour with my brother, I can do something that I love, it's worth it. Of course, there's a lot of sacrifices, there's a lot of missing, you know, birthdays from people at home that you're on tour. There's nothing you can do. But I think at the end of the day, we do what we love, and that's important.
So I have a question that I always put in my interviews because I'm so curious about it. Like, what defines, or who defines who an artist is? What is this thing called artist?
I don't know, but in my opinion, it's someone that expresses themselves. You know, and that's how I see an artist. It's someone that it's able to express themselves. It can be in a million ways, from, you know, from filming, from taking pictures, to writing music, to painting, and to skateboarding. There's many ways of looking at an artist, but I think an artist is someone that it's able to express themselves through some form of communication and showing that, you know. So,
thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
And enjoy the next tour too.
Yeah, thank you.
And the show tonight.
Thank you.